Welcome. I am Mike Hendrix from SMB Golf, and today my guest is Jason Wilson from Gallus, and this is the Tech Caddie podcast. Jason, welcome to the show.
Hey, Mike. Thanks so much for having me.
How are you? Are you in San Diego today?
In San Diego. Yep. Sunny San Diego. So, it's just always, 70 degrees, perfect weather, what you expect. Just kidding. But that's always the impression, but it is definitely, it's a nice spot to be. We're definitely spoiled out here.
I've been to San Diego though plenty of times during marine layer season, so it's not always perfect, but it is a beautiful place. You're lucky to be there.
It is. I think some people kind of come in and they're disappointed with we call it May gray and June gloom. Is every year is if you get a little close to the coast, it's like, what happened? Where'd the sun go? So,
right.
Otherwise, it's a pretty awesome spot to be.
So, Jason, you founded Gallus. Just to help the listeners a little bit, I used to call it Gallus Golf. I think at some point you went through a Mark Zuckerberg moment or something, and you thought, well, let's just drop the golf. So today you're Gallus. Fair to say? We
are Gallus, and obviously we primarily service the golf industry. But we found that with a lot of the clients that we're working with, they're expanding beyond golf, resort, other amenities, things like that. So really, and honestly, it was a tough, transition for me because, I'm kind of married to, the title and whatnot and Gallus Golf. And we even did a rebranding with the logo. And, as founder, it's kind of like you're kind of really tied to that. So, but really love the kind of new look and everything. But yeah, Gallus is kind of what we're going by now. Yep.
And so I'm sure we're going to get into details of the product and how you built it over years, et cetera. I think the app space is a really interesting space from like a strategy perspective. What's the operator want to do? Give me the elevator pitch, not so much to create the company, but the elevator pitch of, I'm a golf course operator. I'm doing 32,000 rounds a year. Why do I need an app?
Yeah. No, really great question. We hear that all the time. And I think that, the answer is what Gallus is really trying to do is we are trying to be, really that central hub and that convenient spot for their customers or their members to have one place to go to easily and quickly interact with everything that club is about. So we allow them to really customize the look and feel and drop in there what's most important to them. And that's everything from booking a tee time to maybe ordering food and beverage to following a live leaderboard for a tournament and using it for scoring, GPS, those types of things. And we also know that golf courses use a lot of different technologies out there, right? So they're best in class technologies that they're trying to use. And what we try to do is give that customer that one spot to go to access all of those things, whether it's powered by Gallus or maybe it's powered by another technology that they're using that's important to their operations. But there's a ton of convenience there in giving that customer that one place to go to be able to access all that, have a better experience from tee to green, right? And I'll say tee to green, but it's honestly even before they get to the golf course, right? They can pull it up, they can access the booking engine quickly without having to go, find the website. They can go view their loyalty points instantly right there. They can go, kind of see what's happening at the club. So, I always say, I don't care what business you are, but whenever a customer downloads your branded app on their smartphone, you've just purchased very valuable real estate on that device. They
free.
are
the build cost, right? I mean, essentially you got on there for free. Yeah,
exactly. And they're one tap away from engaging with your club and accessing everything there. And I would say you are one click away from engaging and communicating effectively with that customer as well through that direct connection, through push notifications, through an in-app message, through pop-ups, through news items, through all the tools that we give you that we have seen be more effective in many cases than email, social media, text messaging. We get that kind of sometimes as well. Well, I already have a text message campaign. I'm like, okay, well that's great, but look at it this way. What is more valuable to your customer? You can say, hey, sign up for a text marketing campaign, and the only thing that they get is they get the ability for you to send them messages. Like there's no additional value. Versus you say, hey, guess what? We built an app for our club. You can easily book tee times. You can access, our news and info. You can order food and beverage. You can use it for scorekeeping. We're going to send you, incentives and offers to come out to the club and enjoy yourself out here. And kind of in return, hey, we get to, send you some messages as well.
Sure.
So there's a little bit more of a, buy-in and trade-off with that.
So that was a super long elevator ride. If you were forced to, if you had to boil it down to something, and I'm the golf course owner, is it improved golfer communication? Is it improved visibility? Like if it's one thing, what would you go with?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely communication. I think that definitely is probably one of the things we hear most consistently is that, hey, our customers aren't reading our emails or newsletters as much as they are now. They're not, maybe they're not on social media. And this is a direct line to communication to make sure that they see it.
Right.
So that's definitely probably one of the main pieces there, is that they're able to ensure that they're going to get a message out and they see, high conversions with those messages that are low effort to get out.
So we've got a bunch of founders that watch this show and CTOs. Is the CTO at Gallus your brother? Is that right?
It is, yes.
Yeah. So that's actually pretty cool too, that you get to work with your brother. But anyway, so we've got these founders and people interested. Can you share with us a little bit, how did you go from, I got an idea, to, getting your first customer, and then maybe, getting from customer 1 up to customer 100 is a whole nother journey. But just give us some insight as to how Gallus Golf got spun together and came to be.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a funny story. The guys that I work with now, they had done some mobile app development in some other spaces. And I was actually out, we were out playing golf, and the golf course that we were playing had an app, and said, gosh, you know what, this is a really great idea. This is a really crappy app, but it's a really great idea, and I think that this is something we could do better, and I grew up, playing golf, since I was a kid. It was always a big part of, my life. I've worked at, golf courses at my local municipal golf course where I grew up, not, PGA or anything, but just, running the pro shop and things like that. And so I started to say, gosh, you know what, I think there's something here, and kind of getting input from those guys to understand, what could we do from, could we do this? Could we do that? From a technical perspective. And then I just started going out and talking to golf courses with some mock-ups and saying, hey, what do you think of this? Would this be valuable from, really trying to build something through the course operator's eyes, to help them, better engage and build that relationship with their customers directly. And long story short, kind of put together, business plan saying, hey, I think that this could be a business here. Had it thrown back at me a few times saying, yeah, try again. But eventually got to a point where said, yeah, we had one angel investor that said, hey, I think there's something here. I'll let you give this thing a shot. And, quit my job 2 weeks before my first child was born to say, let's give this thing a shot.
Amazing.
I figured, what, I can go get, I've always been in sales or marketing and said, I can go get a sales and marketing job if this doesn't work, but this could be a chance to do something, really fun and special. And luckily, it's worked out. So we kind of launched in early 2012 with our initial product, which if I went and looked at it now, I'd kind of like cringe, just as far as we've come with like the technology. But it really was, at the time, was a fantastic product. And I had 2 ways to kind of go about, growth, right? Is I could go hire a team of salespeople just to go knock on doors at golf courses and try to sell this thing on a grassroots, or I could find partners to help us really get some initial partner market penetration. And so I was able to do that. Our first partner was Active Network Golf.
Sure. Which makes sense because you're in San Diego. So they had a big presence there in San Diego.
Yeah, their office is only about 5 minutes away.
Yeah. So Active Golf, for people that don't know, that was one of the acquisitions that we did at Golf Now. That was a big one for us. So, okay. So that was an early partner. And what were they doing? Were they selling your product for you to their customers?
They were. So yeah, when I met with them, they kind of said, gosh, you know what, a mobile app has been on our like to-do list for years and we haven't been able to figure it out. And so great, you guys have something. Let's partner to go, make this work. So we actually did an integration with their open book platform at the time, and built a mobile booking engine in the app, a native booking engine. And the primary reason we did at the time is they had nothing mobile. Even their desktop, like their web booking engine, nothing was mobile friendly. So this was really the only booking engine that they had that was mobile friendly. And yeah, so they would go out. We did a kind of a license distribution agreement with them, so they could go sell the app and bundle it in deals or upsell to current clients. And that was a great partnership. And then I also still did direct sales and hit the phones and did my marketing and everything. And, really for the first couple of years, I was the guy that, called you on the phone trying to sell you the app. And when you signed, I was the guy that onboarded you. And I was the guy that was sent you the invoice. And I was the guy that answered your support call. So for the first couple of years, I always tell everybody that I hire now, I'm like, I did your job at one point. So
right.
So
yeah. There's a lot of value to that. Yeah. And so how'd you take the next step? How did you get from, say, customer 100 to 500 or something like that? Like what did it require more investment, or did it just require more product development? What was the key to that?
Yeah, I think honestly, it was, we were kind of very bootstrapped. And so we didn't put a ton of additional investment beyond the team that we had, developing. So again, we had another partnership, after Active, we were able to partner with EasyLinks as well. So I remember when I first, met the team at EasyLinks and said, hey, let's go, do something together. They originally said, hey, yep, we're going to go build this on our own. And, but thanks that we're good. And then a year later, I remember came back and said, yeah, that was a lot harder than we thought. So yeah, we'd love to partner. So, back then it was, Kurt Albertson, Jim Wood was at EasyLinks, those guys there. And so had another great, run with them where we collaborated to, go out and talk about what we were doing together, and they were able to take our app as well. And at the same time, I think a lot of it was really, honestly, it was myself initially, just kind of the direct sales and growth and marketing there, planting flags all over the country. And as more and more people saw what we were doing and obviously seeing, success, they got a little bit more, hey, gosh, you know what? I see the club down the street just got an app. I've never thought about that, but I see they're having success with it. So through those partnerships, a lot of other smaller, partnerships, one-to-one marketing was a great partner for quite a while. They got acquired by, 4UP, I think it was 2 years ago. So really, honestly, it was building relationships with other, technologies in the space. And we've always been big believers in building bridges between technologies, and that's going to help us grow.
And so when Active would say it was hard, or when Jim would say it was hard to build this, can you define that? What is hard? What makes it hard to build a great app?
Well, so I think building a great app is not necessarily the hard part. It's building a great app and doing it, 500 times, or supporting it, 500, 600, 700, 800 times, for individual facilities. Anybody who has built an app is going to know the joy of working with Apple, and all the great things that they like to change whenever they like to change them. And so, there's quite an extensive process that goes into, if we want to release a new feature, we want to, enhance a feature, a new device comes out, we've got to go through, and now we've got to submit, 800, 900 updates to the App Store. And doing that, at scale, is a business in and of itself. It really, really is. And so we've invested in the ability to kind of scale that process, which, I've seen, other companies have been able to figure it out, but usually it's kind of, they get to, that 30, 40, 50, and then close to 100, then they realize, holy crap, like we need a team just to manage this part of it. So I think that's where the difficulty comes in, and that's where it's one of our core competencies.
Yeah. If you're just sitting here today, you're about to open a new golf course or something, everything's fresh, everything's new. In today's version of Gallus, what are the must-have features? Like, what are the features if I'm going to do an app, and you, Jason, you're the app expert, what are you thinking about that? Like, well, Mr. Operator or Mrs. Operator, you better have these 4 features, because if you don't, there's no point in even using the product. What's essential?
Yeah, no, great question. I think, well, obviously, being able to book a tee time on the app is going to be critical. And we are not, to be clear, we're not a tee time booking, system, right? We don't want to try to reinvent that wheel. There are a lot of great systems out there, and so we just work with them to drop in whatever they're using. And then
can I ask you a question? I'm going to interrupt for a second. Are you, though? And I'm not trying to put you on a spot on the map and forget about desktop and forget about, are you a booking engine company? Like, when someone books a tee time, are they going through your UI and just getting the guts from the tee sheet company, or are you bringing in their booking engine typically into your app?
We're bringing their booking engine into the app.
Okay. And in no cases is it a native engine?
No, the only engine that we had built that was native was the open book integration.
Okay.
That. But, over time, most of the tee sheets have built, mobile friendly, booking engines. And so again, and we even found, kind of at some point with Active, there's always challenges with, as their API changes, keeping things, updated with that API, so that our booking engine matches what they're doing and whatnot. And so we've explored it, but, and I know it's been a topic before that's come up is, well, it's not a native booking engine. In the end, it doesn't matter. We can do a good job of basically making it still seem like a seamless and booking experience for the end user. And the reality is that, the tee sheet providers out there, they're going to continue to, enhance and modify and make their booking engines, better. And so, we don't want to try to be experts in that space, because there's already really great experts out there. And it also gives golf courses a lot of flexibility too. We've had courses over the years, obviously they switch, tee sheets or point of sales. Their app remains, it's still the core app remains, and all we do is say, great, you've switched, from Easy Links to 4UP, great, we just need your new booking engine, right? So it makes it a much more seamless experience over the long term as well.
Okay, so feature 1, we got to have tee times. What's next?
Yeah, the next feature obviously is push notifications and making sure that we do a good job, I think, of helping the golf course, maximize the number of opt-ins for push notifications. We have a clear onboarding process so that they have a way to basically sell, hey, look, make sure you allow notifications, because here's all the benefits you're going to get out of this. Here's why you want to make sure you stay in touch. So that's another big piece. We also have a message center that's like a dedicated inbox for every notification that goes out, whether they have notifications enabled or not. So it's a great way to make sure that they are going to see that, because it's an alternative to email. Like I said earlier, is, I checked yesterday, I have 141,000 emails in my promotions folder in my Gmail. I will never see them. I will never look at them. I went to look to see how many were there. But my phone dings or buzzes, I go look at it. And so
we're all trained really well, just like our Labradors and cockadoodles and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
and tournaments has been huge as well. I mean, the courses have had a lot of success with using the app as kind of their tournament hub as well, and creating a unique and fun experience with live scoring. And it allows them to take that. There's the operational aspect of running a tournament, right? You got to set it up, you got to print out cart signs, you got to do all that. But I think there's another, opportunity with, all those players that are coming out for that charity event or corporate event or whatever. You've got an opportunity to, capture that information, capture that audience, and try to bring them back again, right? And if you've got a 100-player tournament, twice a week or whatnot all season, that's a huge opportunity. And so having the app as kind of the tool to get them to use for that just a specific event, but then be able to create a targeted personalized offer to say, hey, thanks for hosting your event here. We'd love to have you come back in the next 30 days and play our golf course. Here's an offer in our app to give you, 10% off to come play in the next 30 days or what.
That's a feature where it sounds like it's really the first feature I think we've touched on where there are multiple companies in that space. You know, the fact that your app can host a booking engine, okay, like that doesn't mean it's going to save the operator any money, right? The fact that you can do communication, maybe they cut back on text messaging, but maybe not. I think that depends on per facility. But the tournament solution, and I'm assuming you can do leagues as with tournaments and leagues, right?
Yeah.
That sounds like maybe now we could create a cost savings. Maybe I don't have to use Golf Genius, or maybe I don't have to use XYZ, and maybe there's some cost savings there for the operator. Do your customers feel like there are times that you do everything that Golf Genius does, and you actually can save the customer some money?
Yeah, there are definitely scenarios there where we can. I do want to say, hey, Golf Genius is a fantastic company, and they are the best at servicing and covering almost everything under the sun that a golf course tournament or a league may want to do. And we're integrated with them so that we can provide that additional option there. But what we really set out to do, we built the tournament software. We didn't have it originally, and we built it in 2015, really as a result. We had a very light like leaderboard functionality, but not the ability to set up an event and have cart signs and track all the different formats and things like that. And we got a lot of input saying, gosh, and this is way back, remember TPP?
Sure.
A lot of them were using TPP, which was very, very dated, and so they wanted something a little bit more upgraded. And so what we set out to do was to build to make it very simple, quick, and easy for the operator and the end user for what golf courses, 80%, 90% of golf courses were doing 80 to 90% of the time. So those, scrambles that they're running, the, simple stroke play, some best ball, some match play, some of those things, but we weren't going to cover everything under the sky there. And what we found was, a lot of clubs went, gosh, this is perfect. This is what we need. And we're seeing that still now is, the cost of, everything's going up, and definitely we've seen, and heard from clients that the cost of tournament software is going up. And lots of times they don't need everything else that they're doing. They really just need, kind of the core things. And lots of times we fit that bill for them.
Right.
So yeah.
And so that kind of does get me thinking about your breakout. You have about 1,000 customers?
About 900 customers. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's the breakout public to private?
We are a majority public. We're probably, give or take, I'd say in the 70%, public daily fee. And then the rest is, private, resort, some other types of facilities. Yeah.
Right. And so we haven't touched on GPS. And then let's go like GPS even / scorecard. Is that like really important, or do you feel like no rangefinder or the guys walking around with individual range gear, they're going to use that instead of GPS? Like, well, how important is GPS today in an app?
Yeah, I think I think it's important for many clubs. I know for a number of years, GPS systems are, they still can be very, very expensive, and so we definitely had a lot of scenarios where people said, gosh, we're going to save, 30, 40, 50, 60 grand, by saying, gosh, we've got a GPS system here on the app that is a fraction of the cost. And also too, one of the things I used to always say is, hey, the GPS systems on the carts are great, but those systems stay on the cart. They don't go home with your customer. And that is the other value, is that, hey, look, if you've got an option here where they can keep score in the app, they can use it for GPS, that's also going to go home with the customer and gives you another, touch point to be able to reach them and bring them back.
No question. Yeah. I mean, that gets into strategy. I think it's a different conversation, but clubs that are really intentional about what they do could actually intentionally not have GPS on the cart because they believe that if they can get 70% of all golfers at the facility to download the app, that throws off more value ultimately to the club. I'm not a general manager.
Yeah.
But you could see somebody working through that.
And we've seen both ways. I mean, we've seen people who've taken that direct strategy is to say, hey, gosh, here, this is what I'm going to go after doing that. We also see, clubs that, they have GPS on their carts. They still have the app because they understand, hey, they're also trying to, reach, provide a certain experience, maybe based on, what they're charging, at the club or whatnot, the expectations that you're going to have. But they still are, offering, other reasons, other incentives to say, hey, download our app. We
Right.
have the ability to let create what we call a download incentive. Most of our clubs will do that when they first launch an app, right? Just to get some good momentum, the ball rolling. And it's usually something that's nominal, like free small bucket of balls or fountain soda, something like that. But it helps drive. I mean, for so many years, and you still hear people talking about, the value of an email address, right? It's like what that value is from a, marketing perspective. Same thing with an app, getting somebody to download that app is another, it's worth something, to get more of those people to download the app there. So.
Yeah. Now, we mentioned the 900 in my data. So we, I don't think I've even talked to you about this before, but we track a tremendous amount of vendor data for each individual golf course. Because there are people like you, frankly, that want to know, is XYZ using A, B, C, and E, F, G, right? And so anyway, so there's people that subscribe to our data service. That's a long way of me getting to, we do have you as the market share leader in the app space. Are you getting pushed today? Are there new players in the space that are making it more difficult, or just, and I'm not looking for you to mention names, but just give me a perspective on like how competitive is the space today versus when you got in 2012?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely, more competitive today. And I think probably, mostly from, I'd say, a lot of the point of sale providers, just kind of having their own solution. And I think that they would probably admit, and we've heard courses say, that it definitely doesn't have, a lot of the bells and whistles and all the back end tools that Gallus has. We really have built out quite a suite of services that the app can do. And so I think the, where the challenge comes in, honestly, I think is, it depends on the course operator. We've had course operators who have, kind of said, oh yeah, we're going to go with such and such app because it's included in our deal, right? That's not even costing anything or whatnot. And then they'll come back and say, yeah, well, we kind of got what we paid for. It didn't cost us anything, and it really didn't compare to what you had. So they'll end up saying, hey, we really want to get you implemented now. So, but unfortunately, some operators are just, hey, it checks the box. We have an app, and that's kind of sometimes the tough part to overcome. But usually, I mean, I don't do as many in person or virtual demos today with clients, but I still do a few every once in a while, and I still hear when we actually can get somebody to sit down and take a look at what we're doing. Usually, the reaction is like, "Holy crap! There's a lot here that we can do." Like they just have no idea. They just thought, oh, well, it's an app with, a scorecard. It's like,
right.
No, like here is a tool that you're going to create, a pop-up to, sell gift cards. And you can see that, this is generating, tens of thousands of dollars in gift card conversions through this channel that you're not getting somewhere else, it just because of the audience that you're reaching, the type of person that is looking to do that, and some of the integrations that we do have that I'm a big believer in the self-service economy, and that more and more customers and consumers out there, and golfers or consumers, are looking for that self-service option, right, to be able to check in and pay for their tee time right on their phone, not have to walk into a pro shop and wait in line on a busy Saturday morning. That would be huge. We have some integrations with certain partners that do the waitlist functionality.
Well, I was going to ask you about waitlist because I seem to recall a press release or something that you were going to be a vendor in the waitlist technology. Do I have that right?
Yes. We do have it's called our Tee Time Standby solution. It's integrated with Club Profit, so it only works with Club Profit courses because we are integrated directly to the tee sheet. So it is actually talking right to the tee sheet, and then but we also are I know the guys at Notify, Jake and I talk all the time, and they're awesome guys too, and so they've integrated to our push API as well, so that if a club is using Notify, they can actually send ththose notifications to app users specifically right through the app as well.
And I think you work with Golf Geek software as well, do you not? Because I want to say their golf courses were a client of yours.
Yes. Well, yeah, the Walters Golf facilities are clients of ours, and yes, we are. Aaron is awesome over there, and we're working with them on trying to get that waitlist technology also integrated to the app. It's not there yet, to be transparent.
I guess the key is, and I think you mentioned it a second ago, and it's that you can integrate to the notification system, because ultimately that's what this whole thing is about with this waitlist thing, is notifying people that it's become available. Exactly.
Yeah, we have a push API that honestly multiple people have integrated to. So really, we are the channel to say, hey, look, they can decide, and obviously with waitlist, what message do you want to send? When do you want to send it, and who do you want to send it to, and what do you want the call to action to be? So we have all that in our API. So with waitlist, obviously, or notify, they can identify, hey, look, this time just opened up. We're going to send a push notification to this segment of users of the app that signed up with Notify, as opposed to maybe an email or a text message. So it's another channel for them to get that out.
Okay. And I am curious, you're one of these few people, I'm just guessing, you've not said this to me beforehand. You can see golfer behavior, I'm thinking, in your large amount of data that Gallus has. And I'm not suggesting that golfer email addresses, but golfer behavior, I would think you would have data points on that from the interactions inside of the app.
Yeah, I mean, we can see, obviously anything that they're using the app, and especially with our tools, whether it's, loyalty activity, you can build a loyalty program within our app. We have our offer locker, which is transitioning to our rewards and subscriptions program. So we can see, who's viewing those, when are they redeeming them, what kind of activities there, obviously the scoring data.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask about. How often, because look, there's a lot of apps now that are saying they have a scorecard inside of the app. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious to know how often people use that feature. And when I say people, golfers, how often are golfers actually using the scorecard, I don't know, UI inside of the app to keep their score?
Yeah, it kind of depends on the golf course. We have some that, because of what they're doing at the golf course, they see a lot of, high usage. And we have, if they're a gin facility as well, for example, we're integrated to gin. And so they can keep their score right there in the app, and then with a push of a button, send their hole by hole scores to gin. And so, the courses that are doing a great job, of creating awareness about that are see some higher usage. Some, the usage honestly is not as much, just because, the awareness is maybe not there in terms of, what they're talking to their golfers about there. So it's kind of all over the place. So it really depends on sometimes, region and what the course is doing there.
Yeah. I think when scorecard functionality came along, I think a lot of people thought maybe we can just eliminate the paper scorecard expense.
Yeah.
But it's hard to find a golf course today that just won't buy scorecards, right?
It is tough. We definitely have had many that have I wouldn't say just gotten rid of them, but they've reduced it. They've really pushed hey, the green initiative, and say, hey, look, we've got an app here. You can keep score. You can see a history of every single score you've got in here. So there's no reason not to use it. But as we all know, the golf industry doesn't always move as quickly on those types of initiatives there as we'd like. But yeah, I think the good news is that the generations that are coming, they're more and more in tune to doing something like that, and not going to want to actually use a paper scorecard and whatnot. And so I think we'll see that increase over time for sure.
Can an individual's GIN number travel from app to app? Do you know what I'm getting at there?
Yeah, no, I mean, well, yes. I mean, you can, when you go to download, the app, you can go in and put in your GIN number. It's not gonna, if I download Golf Course A app over here, and then I download Golf Course B app over here, it's not gonna recognize that. We're not tying,
Okay, and that's what I was getting at. Yeah, that's what I was suggesting.
Yeah, just because that's always been, we are doing some things to kind of, maybe expand the profile, a bit there, and some ideas on how we can possibly connect those things, but we also understand that, hey, look, really this is the golf courses app, right? And so last thing we want to do is share customer data with another golf courses app as well. That's important to them that, hey, these are their golfers that are downloading their app, and we want to make sure that they have, the priority to be able to, connect and collect that data and market to them, for their purposes.
You live in a really interesting space. I mean, where you're almost kind of have to straddle a lot of lines, right? You don't want to be a booking engine company. You don't want to be a tee sheet, but you are going to participate in the, tournament functionality. I think you're now also kind of in that subscription functionality. I can only imagine strategy meetings at Gallus where, it's like, well, we don't want to take 2 steps to the left, maybe 1 step to the left.
Right.
Talk a little bit about the subscription stuff, though, because clearly, I think a lot of operators, I think Supreme kind of made this thing a bigger deal, if you will, a few years ago. And now more and more people are getting hip to how subscriptions can be so good for the business.
Yeah.
Talk about your involvement there and like what kind of problems you guys are solving as it relates to subscriptions.
Yeah. We're excited about our turnkey subscription solution, and the idea there is again to try to simplify, the process of being able to set up and customize, a subscription in any way that a club wants to. They could have different tiers, they can have different, recurring options. They could sell individual, just maybe not subscriptions, but maybe it's a golf pack of 10 rounds of golf, and make it really simple for the customer right there to be able to see right on the app what those subscription options or membership options are, or golf pack options or lessons packages, and with a few taps of their phone they can sign up and sign up for that subscription. So and instantly too, right there on the phone, they'll be able to have a membership card that's a digital membership card. They'll have access to all their benefits that they get with their subscription with a tap of a button as well. And then any sort of redeemable, vouchers. Let's say you get, 5 rounds of golf a month, or you get, a voucher in the pro shop for a discount every month or whatnot. They're all digital vouchers, and they can come in there, they can see them, they can see when they expire, they can redeem them right through the app as well. So it kind of just closes the loop for the customer experience right there, and make sure that it is actually right there in the palm of their hands versus, having to go into a pro shop, fill out a paper form, PDF, give them a credit card, have them put that on file, put it somewhere in a filing cabinet, have them print out some vouchers, hand them to you, or email them, or even mail. We have some clients that have been mailing out stuff, and that just kind of like closes the loop on that. And then also for the auto renewal aspect of it, especially with annual passes, season passes, things like that. I know that, clubs go through a tremendous amount of effort to, resell those every single year. And with ours, you can actually just have it set up so it auto renews. Obviously, the person can opt out of it if they want, but that can reduce a significant amount of time. I know, talking to a few clients, they're just, their eyes just go, oh my gosh, I don't have to, go through the hours and hours at the beginning of next season to go through this process. We could just have them actually sign up right there in the app. And they'll have all the data there as well on the back end. And
when you mentioned a moment ago, in the palm of your hand, I mean, really, you are suggesting there is some kind of, you got to be there at the right moment to get the purchase done, right? I guess you're suggesting that you don't want to have someone to have to put this off until they can go sit down at a desktop computer, or until they can walk into the pro shop. If they're ready to buy, you'd just like to be able to transact them immediately and close the sale. Exactly. Yeah, I just did a kind of an interview with one of our clients that's using it, and he kind of gave the statement of, this is, I can reach my customer and sell while they're sitting on the couch in the evening when my course is closed, when they can go in there and boom, I can send a push notification. They're going to see it. They're advertising our new, pass or punch card program, and boom, within a few clicks, it's right there. So you're able to reach them again. The more convenient you make it with anything you're selling, right, you're going to increase sales, just because, they don't have to go, gosh, well, I'll go buy that when I have time, or when I can stop by, or I can do this. It's literally right there on their phone. Right. And I'm, this is my sales and marketing hat on here a little bit. I'm guessing that an hour after someone finishes their round, if they get a notification to buy 5 rounds at a, total discount, right? It saves the money if you buy 5 rounds now. I would think that that can be a pretty effective marketing ploy for people that do have the app.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're like you're saying, the right timing, right, is what you want, and it's not just the timing of the messaging, but also the ability for them to follow through on the transaction immediately, right? So we're exploring, a lot of the automations there. One of the automations that we're working on is with certain rewards, right? They might expire at the end of the month or at the end of the season or whatnot. And being able to automatically notify them, hey, this reward or this voucher is, about to expire, make sure you come out and use it. And you want to drive, I think if you're a golf course, there's some element of breakage, right, that you're looking for, but you also want them to come out to the club. You want them to use it. You want them to spend a little bit more money with that program so that they renew it, every single year and continue to see the value in it.
Is there anything, so I'm a big believer, we have not talked about this a lot on this podcast, but I actually think one of the next big frontiers, I'm big on the whole AI voice thing. I think I've made it myself clear that I do think that that's an unlock for a lot of people. But one of the other ones that I'm really interested in is loyalty. And I understand what you're saying, that, hey, you can customize your loyalty program any way you want, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm wondering, do you all talk about, though, creating some kind of a custom loyalty program that really came out of your brains, and you rely on AI, you rely on algorithms to build a loyalty program that frankly your competitors can't get to, right? That you've got some IP there that sets your loyalty program apart. Do developers have conversations like that, or what's your perspective on something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely opportunity there. I think that the challenge that I encounter is that as we know, every golf course is a little bit different, and they have different ideas on how they want loyalty to work for them. And I think that when you talk about loyalty too, I think there's two ways, right? There's your traditional loyalty program, which is, the more you play or the more you purchase, the more you earn in rewards, right? And then there's the subscription, which I think it's prepaid loyalty, right? It's like, hey, you're going to pay up front for these additional benefits types of things. And I think there's huge opportunity in golf to do that. And yeah, AI can definitely play a role. I think the more that is able to understand what is working, across a larger, range of facilities and what is making the business, viable from a loyalty standpoint. Because I think, some clubs might get hung up on, well, gosh, what do we do, right? So I think really kind of having almost like a guideline, that's driven by, AI powered data, could be really valuable. So it's not something we have today, but it's definitely something we talk about. Gosh, how can we implement and use those types of things to make it valuable for a golf course operator or other industries? I mean, honestly, one of the reasons we built the subscription module was we have a sister company that was started this year in the craft brew space, and something that's super important to craft breweries is beer clubs, mug clubs, membership programs. It's a big driver for their business, and so it's kind of one of those things. Gosh, we can build it once and sell it twice type
Sure.
of thing, right? Because there's two markets that it fits. And it's really honestly been interesting too with being more intimately familiar with the craft brew space on the side. I still have one of my partners really runs it, but they're the opposite of golf right now. They were in a period of rapid expansion, and just, you could just open a craft brewery and you got a line out the door. And ever since 2019, 2020, that has shifted. So golf took off and craft beer kind of took a slide. And so it's just been interesting to kind of see both sides of that, as where, craft breweries now are going, gosh, we can't just exist and have tons of customers. We actually have to market. We actually have to, engage our customers and get them back into the tap room. And so that's why I think they see a ton of value.
What's the name of your beer brand?
It's called Tapwise.
Tapwise. Okay.
Yeah.
And so this does lead me something, because I think a lot of founders, I don't know, sometimes founders can go 10 months and forget about this, but other founders think about it every day. Ultimately, there's some kind of an exit, right? And a lot of times the exit can be an acquisition. Sometimes the exit can be, well, the company ran its course and I've put all my kids through college and, it's going to be something different now or whatever. But what in these 10 plus years that Gallus has been around, has other outside money come in and put you in a place where you feel like, well, as a founder, I've now satisfied, my desire to build something and see it exist forever? Or how has it worked out for you guys as it relates to that founder component?
No, that's a great question. We have been fortunate enough to not require any additional investment, so we've been able to, after the first couple of years, be profitable and reinvest back into the company. So we haven't had any additional investors come in. We've definitely had interest in that and had some of those conversations, but ultimately, I've also been around to long enough to see some of those acquisitions happen and kind of see how sometimes they play out. And I'm still, Gallus is kind of my baby, and I'm not ready to, kind of let somebody else take the helm there and really I still think there's a lot of additional opportunity that we can bring to the industry. And I want to, still see that happen. So to me, I still love what we're doing. I love this industry. I love the team that we've got. And maybe, somewhere down the road, there's something there. But honestly, I think what we've been looking at from, I'd say, kind of the management perspective is, gosh, what we built doesn't just apply to golf. A very, scalable, affordable, branded app technology with the tools that we have applies to so many other different verticals. There are other verticals that we can go serve and really help level up what they're doing.
Right. Essentially a fragmented vertical, right? Yep. So whether it's bed and breakfast, golf course, individual breweries, these fragmented industries where the owner operator is often involved and is looking for outside vendors to fill gaps on skill sets and et cetera, et cetera. And so I'm sure that it's Switchcase, right? The Switchcase group.
The Switchcase group, it's kind of the portfolio company.
Yep. Yeah, and so it'll make sense that the Switchcase group will bring in other industries, and I'm sure you'll have some unique development within those industries, but you'll also have these core things that you had built, like you said, 5 or 6 years ago, that can be used over and over again.
Exactly. The idea is that we can ramp up a little faster because we've already got something that we built that we can build on top of, right? And we can obviously build some very market specific features that are going to address that market very well. But we get to add in all these, it doesn't matter if you take out the GPS and the scorecard and tee time booking out of our app, and the communication, the loyalty, the native features that they can, drive through that app and engagement they can drive with those customers applies to a lot of different businesses. So the idea is we don't want to build something for that the catch-all for everything. We want to be very, determined about which type of market we go after. But we definitely think there's some other opportunities outside of golf for sure.
And does the Boost marketing service, for people that don't know, Jason, they have a marketing service like so many of us built over time. A lot of us, I think, figured out if we were selling software, then there was an opportunity to help our customer use it at a more deep level. Does the Boost marketing service translate into the brew side as well?
It definitely could. We haven't actually added like a marketing services to that business yet at this point. But just like just like in golf, Boost kind of came out of the fact that, gosh, we're working with golf courses, we're helping them with obviously our specific technology, but kind of realizing, man, they need help with a lot of their technology, email marketing, making sure their website's up to date, social media. And honestly, for a while, we were just kind of helping them. And then I realized, gosh, we should be charging for this if we're helping them. So that's kind of how Boost kind of got started. And we see the same thing in the craft beer space as well. You've got, just like in golf, you've got individual who is wearing a lot of hats. They're GM, they're head pro, they're running F&B, they're the superintendent. You see the same thing in the brew space. They're brewing the beer, they're running the tap room, they're doing the marketing, so they need help as well.
Right. Well, I appreciate you giving us, an inside look. I think I've always thought it was a really interesting business. You just sit in such a unique spot in call it the ecosystem of golf course technology. And I think you guys have done a really good job of carving that spot out to be larger and larger, which is ultimately, what you're charged with doing. So
Yeah.
I think that's great. Is AI part of the roadmap? And then I also kind of want to touch on, like, I would think you'd want to get to 1,000 clients and then 2,000 clients, but I'd be curious to hear your vision.
Yeah, I mean, AI is definitely, I mean, we use AI in, I'll call it just in our development, obviously, to try to, streamline our development. And we're exploring, okay, great, where can we implement AI that is most useful for, for the operators, can be effective. Yeah, I mean, and we want to grow, obviously, yes, we want to continue to grow. We want to cross that 1,000 threshold. We want to cross the 2,000 threshold. And the challenge, as always, I mean, we've been doing it for a long time here, is just, the needs of facilities are obviously so different. We can go talk to one facility and we check every single box, and some other facilities, they have something else that maybe there's that one thing that we're missing. And the challenge is as you well know, we can't do it. We always say, we can do anything, we can't do everything, or at least we can't do it all at once. That's right. So the idea is, how do we responsibly, prioritize a roadmap where we're not just, burning cash like crazy. We got to be a viable business, and we want to be very deliberate about, the types of things that we're building. One thing that we're focused or working on right now is kind of addressing the resort market as well. So we've been working with one of our clients who was originally just a golf course. They had 3 golf courses at the resort, but they really wanted something that was even more robust. They've got so many other amenities, from spa to marina to biking to beach to dining to, paddle boards, all those types of things. And so we have been working with a partner in that space to really build that full encompassing resort experience. That's, if you're Hyatt or you're Marriott or whatnot, you've already got something, but those resorts that are kind of in that middle space there, and they really want something that's that full end-to-end experience, fully integrated. And so we're really excited about that in 2025, and really expanded into the resort space.
I would think there would be an opportunity too for the homeowner association space, right? That where they have the golf course and they've got some additional needs as well.
Yep, exactly. The vacation rentals is, especially with our one client, that's a big part of it, right? And the idea is that, they've got, it's a business that has, multiple revenue streams, right? It's not just golf, but they've got dining, they've got all these things. And we bring it all together into one spot for that seamless experience for that customer, so that they can go in and see, gosh, it doesn't matter if they booked, their vacation rental through this and their dining over here and the marina over here. We kind of create that basically one-stop shop experience for them to interact and access all of those things. So that's something we're definitely really excited about for next year.
Well, that's great. Again, thanks for your time. Thanks for coming on. I hope you guys get to 1,000 quick, and then 1,500 even quicker. So I'm always rooting for all you guys to grow. So I think that's great. You're providing jobs, right? You're building something that's going to be around forever and ever, and that's really cool.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's been a fun journey, and just like any founder out there, it's fun times, and the times that I'm just banging my head against the wall. And so we know that for sure, but it's wouldn't change anything, and continue to welcome the challenge, and let's go continue to grow. So I appreciate you having me on, Mike.
Good for you. Yep. Thanks a lot.